Good morning, greetings, peace and love. My name is Kimberlie Wright. Welcome to Word Up, the class all about poetry, spoken word, and short stories. All right, we've had a lesson for the last 2 to 3 weeks on the 15 types of short poetic forms. Depending on how you all feel about it, we will do another round, or if not, I will let you all do free verse next week. And anybody who missed a few classes, you are more than welcome to join us in choosing one of these 15 short poetic forms to write about. So today we're going to just basically work on our spoken word. Everybody is going to share the piece that they switched last week. And what I have down is I have Miss Vicki Myers for an acrostic poem, Miss Jean Harris, Sinkane, Jacqueline Lattimore, haiku, Kimberlie Wright, myself, triolet, Sharon Hardnett had a tanka, Miss Betty Coleman had the nonette, Sally Dawson had the nani. So I did get, if Miss Sally Dawson is on here, I did get a message from her saying that she was really confused and she needed some help, probably before class. However, I've been out of town. So Miss Sally Dawson, when you get on, I apologize for that. However, I don't know if you got a chance to write a poem in the form of a nani, but if you did not, you can still do it or share what you have. So, Mr. Ronnie Clark, if you can see this board up here, we have 15 types of short poetic forms. You might want to get a pen and paper to write down those poetic forms. What we did is chose one of the forms 1 week, and then we all came back and recited what we had. And after that, we switched around. I was trying to allow everybody to switch out so that we could possibly learn different ones. Okay. So I must have left my phone in the computer lab, but it's okay. All right, so the forms, the 15 types of poems that we have is, number 1 is acrostic. If you have any questions, Mr. Ronnie or anybody that just joined, feel free to ask. Number 2 is a rispetto. Rispetto. It's R-I-S-P-E-T-T-O. 3 is the sinkane. 4 is the haiku. 5, Horatian ode. H-O-R-A-T-I-A-N, Horatian ode, O-D-E. Number 6 is the limerick. Limerick. And I encourage you all, if there's a poetic form that I'm calling out and you have not written about it, you know, challenge yourself. Number 7 is the nani, N-A-A-N-I. Number 8, nonette, N-O-N-E-T. Number 9, octava rima. It's spelled O-T-T-A-V-A-R-I-M-A. Ottava rima. Number 10 is the pantoum. Sorry, that's what Miss Sally Dawson had. She had the pantoum. So even if I called out, I noticed that I called out a particular, sorry, what I called out, I think that was like old from one of the other weeks. And I'm not sure if I actually, let's see. All right, I don't see the list, the new list that I made So everybody should know what poetic form they had. Okay, keeping on right along going. Number 11 is the sonnet, S-O-N-N-E-T. 12 is Spenserian. Spenserian, S-P-E-N-S-E-R-I-A-N, Spenserian. 13 is the Tanka, T-A-N-K-A. 14 is the Triolet, T-R-I-O-L-E-T, Triolet. And 15, there are 15 types of short poetic forms. 15 is the Villanelle, V-I-L-L-A-N-E-L-L-E, Villanelle. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my poetic form that I had, which was the Triolet. I sometimes can write a piece going through it fluidly, can write a poem, but then I have trouble giving it a title, or I might know what my title is and can't seem to get through my poem. However, this poem is titled, I first thought it would be called Wind, but when you just say wind, it doesn't even make sense. Then I was gonna call it Farewell, but that wasn't actually describing what the poem is all about. So this is a triolet, and it's a triolet of hope, So basically, yeah, I would just say the title is, this is a triolet of hope. All right. So it goes like this. When will we return to Darnell, to the place where seniors shine? No one can quite foretell when we will return to Darnell and finally tell this pandemic farewell. Don't you think it's about time? When will we return to Darnell, to the place where seniors shine? No one can quite foretell when we will return to Darnell and finally tell this pandemic farewell. Don't you think it's about time? When will we return to Darnell, to the place where seniors shine? So if you switch to the triolet today, you'll notice that it has a rhyme scheme where you're supposed to make your first line, make your second line. The third line rhymes with the first line and so forth. So if you choose to get that piece today, then you're more than welcome to have a go at it. So now we want to go ahead and go to Miss Jean, but you have to unmute yourself.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Where does blank verse fit in?
Blank verse?
Uh-huh.
As it pertains to what? You mean poetry, period?
Uh-huh. Poetry, blank verse.
Okay. I thought you was about to
Oh, I mean, I got a lot of starts, but
what made you ask that question?
Because I reason I ask is I found myself trying to make words, that rhyme rather than what I was trying to say. And I said, well, maybe sometimes it's just better to have blank verse. And then I thought, I better ask Kim, is she going to include blank verse? If not,
But blank verse is really, it's included in a lot of poetry. It just depends on, like
I thought it was a form. I thought it was a form of poetry.
No, it's basically a verse without rhyme.
It's not a form of poetry?
It's a verse without rhyme.
Okay, I thought it was a form of poetry. The Bible sometimes is blank verse.
It is poetry, but it's written. It's poetry, but it's written. It's written like, meaning it doesn't have to have rhyme. So if you are sticking to some type of form of poetry, like, for example, haiku only has to have 17 syllables in 3 lines, but that doesn't mean it have to rhyme.
Right.
Yeah, they never said haiku had to rhyme. You just, and so if you were to do a piece like free verse, which would be your own free writing, you might choose to allow it to rhyme, or it might not rhyme at all. So that's what blank verse is. It's just poetry that does not rhyme.
Thanks.
No problem. So since I want to have a more thorough definition, blank verse is any verse comprised of unrhymed lines, all in the same meter, usually iambic pentameter. It was developed in Italy and became widely used during the Renaissance because it resembled classical or unrhymed poetry. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Ms. Jean, for that. So that was something, even still that you asked that question, that's something that, if you did not already know that, that's something that we all learned. Is there anybody out there that got a lesson last week from one of these pieces that you want to share your piece? Ms. Vicky, what did you have?
You gave me last week Spencerian stanza.
Oh, Spencerian. Okay. I knew I was reading the wrong list. That list was previous.
Yeah, I've done the rispetto, and I've done the acoustic.
Acrostic.
I'm sorry, acrostic.
It's okay. It might have been acoustic. It's okay.
Right.
Well, anyway, I did the Spencerian, and I looked up Spencerian stanza versus Spencerian sonnet. And the definition of a Spencerian stanza is a stanza in verse form consisting of 9 lines, where the first 8 lines are in iambic pentameter, while the last line, known as an Alexandrine line, is an iambic hexameter with a rhyming scheme of CC. But you got A, B, B, C, B, C, C. Whereas the Spencerian sonnet is A, B, A, B, A, A, B, A, B, B, C, B, C, C, D, C, D, E, E.
Okay, well that's even longer.
Yeah, the stanza is longer. Like John Keats wrote a lot of Spencerian sonnets. Okay. But here's my Spencerian stanza. It's called "Leaving You." Okay, it has to have 9 lines, and each line has to have 11 syllables, and the last line, number 9 line, has to have 12 syllables.
Okay.
And the last line is supposed to sum up what's going on. Okay. So okay. Here's my poem. Alone I sit to write you a brief note. Should I pen about our lost love again? A thought put into fancy words to quote, like me weeping and telling all in vain, or perhaps simply listing mournful pain. It seems so cruel to leave in a letter that which should be said without disdain. You would only ask me what's the matter. The truth be told, I am leaving you for better.
Forever.
For better.
I really love that.
I set it up so I counted every, I don't know if you can see. I counted every syllable, and I counted, I set up A, B, B. I set the writing up to show the structure of the poem.
That's so cute. And I love the way that you said, like, you don't want to break up in the letter, but you leaving them for somebody better.
Better, yeah.
No, because you would break up the rhyme scheme, and I didn't want to say for better. Oh yeah, at the end I said better, but matter came up so that I would have to sum it up. The last line, number 9, sums up.
It sure does.
Say for someone better because it would have been more than 12 syllables.
Right. Okay.
So that's when really, I sum it up, you got to say, the truth be told, I am leaving you for better.
Oh, for better. Yeah, for better, period. It could be for better. Yeah. Even though you're leaving the person, even though you're leaving the person, to me, you implied that better could be not even leaving them for somebody. It just could be for a better life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good.
That was good.
That was very good.
That was good.
Very good.
I had to really think about it because, like you said, I had to do some research and look up things and see what other people had done. And it sort of challenged my mind to just try to sum it all up.
Yes, ma'am. And so did you find it to be difficult, or once you really got in your mind what the scheme was it pretty simple?
It was pretty simple once I got the rhyme. That wasn't the first one. I stumbled back and forth because the trick is you've got to stay within 11 syllables for the first 8 lines. And you got to remember the rhyme scheme. And then you got to remember the summary at the 9th line. And it flows after that, after you get familiar with that. So I wrote several that didn't make sense, but I was looking up words that would help me. And reading some of John Keats' poem during the 2 weeks we've lapsed through helped me a lot because I understood the rhythm.
Well, you did a wonderful job.
John Keats has a poem called The Eve of St. Agnes.
Eve of St. Agnes, okay.
It's very good. It's a Spenserian sonnet, and it's written exactly in those 9 lines. Some of them don't, some of them vary. You don't have to stick with the rhyme scheme. The true John Spence is the guy, I think his name was Edmund Spenser. He was a celebrated English poet, and that's how it's called, the Spenserian.
All right, I want y'all to go behind me to say the next line and either make a rhyme or we're gonna do an A, B, A, B, A, B type of thing. So, I once knew this man named Tony.
I once knew this man named Tony.
Okay.
What's the next line?
He was always full of baloney.
No, it can't, that second line's gotta be a B.
I can do a couplet, but I had a hard time.
Okay, so since Ms. Jean said it, I once knew this man named Tony. He played music so well and fine, but he was full of baloney. So, you know, now you got to say another line that rhymes with fine.
I wish that he was always mine. I wish that he was always mine.
9 or mine?
Mine, M-I-N-E.
If he was full of baloney, you wouldn't.
I'm like, why would you want him to be yours if he was full of baloney?
Because that's the kind we fall for.
He was not so very kind. I know this man named Tony.
Okay, I once knew this man named Tony who played music well and fine.
Right, and he was full of baloney.
Your line? He was always full of baloney, but I wish he was mine.
Yeah, but I wish that he was always mine.
Okay. And so that was dedicated to Anthony Bailey.
Right.
Yes. That didn't make sense. If he was
so we just did a poem right on the spot, right in class. All right, Miss Jean, Miss Betty, Miss Jacqueline, or Miss Sharon Hartnett. Do you all have a spoken word for the pieces that you were given last week?
Well, I tried.
Okay.
Okay.
What did you have, Miss Jean?
I had so much. Mine was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 lines.
You had No, I'm saying, what's the type of poem that you had?
What's the 8-line poem called?
Nonette?
Yes. Is that Nonette? The 8 lines?
You had the Nonette.
Rispetto was 8 lines.
Is Rispetto 8 lines?
Rispetto is 8 lines, 11 syllables per line.
I think you had the Rispetto, Miss Jean.
Okay. I started so much, but you know what? I guess it's because I can write a couplet, and I kept writing couplets. It was so hard for me to get those 2 quatrains.
Okay, well, did you write something anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go for it.
Love grows and ever expands. It's
wait. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Forgive me. Does it have a title? No? No,
not yet.
Okay, no problem.
We can call it love. Call it love, L-U-V.
Okay, go ahead. No problem, sorry.
Love grows and ever expand. Its only force is giving. Love builds and ever expands. It always is authentic. Love is never self-absorbed. It's always, I don't know. But anyway, I was having problems with the quatrains, and what happens to me sometimes, I go for the word and not the meaning. So I don't want to lose what I'm trying to say to make it rhyme.
Right, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm still working on it. I got about a whole book of them almost.
Okay, it's no problem. So you can still work on that when you get a chance.
Have something great next week.
Okay, no problem. So I want us to kind of change the mood. I'm going to give you all a new lesson for next week. However, if you want to, if anybody still wants to make the content of the class even fuller next week, you can still write one of these types of poetic forms. Miss Betty, Miss Jacqueline, you have anything?
Yes.
What did you have last week?
But I got it. You told me to do the haiku and the, what is it? Nonette. N-O-N-E-T.
Nonette.
And yes. So on the nonette, I did love. And I said, my wish this year, let us be kind to one another, put aside difficulties, and come together as one. Let us sow seeds of hope and love and cherish others the way we want to be cherished. And you said with the haiku to do something about my experience with serving breakfast at Darnell.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know. I guess it's more like would be a short story.
That's fine.
I'll do it, and you can tell me what it is. I said for the title, Good Morning. Then I said, knock, knock. I know you hear me. What time are you all going to open? It's already 9:30. Hello? And I said, okay, we'll be open in just a minute. You all don't have any bacon baked there this morning? Where are the biscuits? What about the cheese grits? I need somebody to ring me up, okay? Someone will be with you in just a moment.
Okay. job. The only thing I want to say to everybody, I did hear your both of your pieces were really good as far as the content and the sticking to what message you were trying to get across. Just don't forget that the nonette is supposed to have 9 lines, and each line, the first line is supposed to have 9 syllables. The next one is supposed to have 8 syllables. The next one, 7 syllables, 6 syllables down to 1 syllable. Okay. All right, Miss Jacqueline, you have anything you want to share? Good job, Miss Betty.
I just have the haiku. My computer was in the shop last week, so I didn't attend class last week.
It's no problem. We didn't have class last week.
Oh, well,
yeah,
good.
You didn't miss anything. I was on vacation. We didn't have class. It's all right.
Oh, okay. Well, I did a haiku from the week before.
Okay.
And the name is Leaves.
Leaves like on trees?
Leaves like on a tree.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Leaves swirl to the ground. In the Canadian woods, low and smooth it flew. Or they flew. Low and smooth they flew. That's 5, 7, and 5. 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the last.
Okay, can you read it one more time? I can feel that, but I want to like visualize it again.
Leaves swirl to the ground in the Canadian woods. Low and smooth they flew.
Good job. You've been in the Canadian woods?
Yeah, I have some land in Canada.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Okay, I did one more, helicopters.
Okay.
Leaves rush to leave branches. Leaves are like helicopters, swirling and twirling. That's 5, 7, 5.
Yep, that's beautiful. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when a leaf propels down like that. It looks like a helicopter, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Good job, Miss Jacqueline. That was really, really beautiful. And I could visualize your pieces really well. Mr. Ronnie, would you like to try one of the pieces that we called out for next week? I'll give you the instructions, because every time someone chose or chooses one of these short poetic forms, I give them the instructions. Would you like to try one of these?
Not really.
Okay.
But tell you what, just pick one and give me one. I don't, frankly, I've never heard of most of those.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you all to try some in case, like in the future, when you write your poems, I wanted you all to use some of these styles to write your poems in. But anyway, Mr. Ronnie, since you was not in class, I want to share my nonette. The nonette has 9 lines. That's what Miss Betty just did. It has 9 lines. Hold on one second. So I'm interested to hear you do like probably like a nonette or nonette, it's your choice. I think you should do the nonette. 8.
Okay.
The nonette is an awesome 9-line poem whose syllables trickle down in descending order until they are done. The first line has 9 syllables and the last one has 1 syllable. So that means each line is going to be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to have 9 lines and each line has different syllables. So I have 2 nonettes that I wrote, and this is how it looks. If you can see this, Mr. Ronnie and everybody else. It was pretty fun to do the nonette. Can you see that?
I see it, yes.
So the first line got 9, and you can see the bottom one is only one word, but it's gonna have one syllable. So this nonet is called 9 lines. 9 lines. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So that was 9 syllables. You have to go the whole 9 yards. That's 8. Some of us work 9 to 5. Some of us work 9 to 5. That's 7. A stitch in time saves 9. Be dressed to the 9s. Cat has 9 lives. That's 4. I'm on 3 now. On cloud 9. Then I have 69. Y'all so crazy. I made that face the first time. All right, this is the next poem. Look at Miss Jean. Don't get Miss Jean started. All right, this next poem is called Slam. It's a nonet too, Mr. Ronnie. Word Up, it's called Slam. Word Up is all about poetry. Yes, spoken word and short stories. Clear words echo from the mic. Shaking off nerves, stage fright. Lyrics on paper, repetition, rhythm, rhyme, epic lines. All right.
You are fine.
So.
That sounds interesting. I'll give that a try.
Okay, it is. It's pretty fun. So it just have 9 lines, and each line you're going to descend it with those syllables. This particular book here is called Closer to the Sun.
That's pretty.
It's really thin. And this character here, as you can see, it is an Ankh, like an Egyptian Ankh. It has the head here, the wings, and the body of the Ankh, so to speak. This book was written by a sister named Nefertari Oshun. And I was just going to show you her picture here. And so even though it's not necessarily rhyming, I'm just going to read you one page just to show you, even if it's blank verse, or how it could be poetic in its form, so to speak. So this is called Closer to the Sun, and it's basically a book of affirmations. She wrote it for anybody who would possibly need it, but it's definitely directed towards youth, children, girls. And so this is the first page. And it says, today is a beautiful day. I am grateful to breathe fresh air. I am grateful to be alive and well. I am going to use the power of my imagination to focus, relax, and just be me. I love you from my heart to yours. Relax and enjoy this nature journey with me. So that's the first page. And I'll just definitely read the second one, but that's it. And so you can see right here, she's with like a bird. Seagull. It says, as I fly in the sky, I feel great. In the sky, I see a white seagull nearby. I stop to watch and feel the seagull's energy while breathing deeply. Take a deep breath in for 4 seconds, then breathe out. Now say, I am as pure as a white seagull. I am as free as a bird. My wings fly high in the deep red and blue sky. So I just wanted to share a couple of excerpts or pages out of that, just to show you that it's poetic in its beautiful form of writing, but it's blank verse. It doesn't rhyme at all. You wanted to say something, Ms. Jean?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this too. My husband hated poetry. So I tried to explain to him why we had it. He said, you don't need poetry. Why don't you just say it? And I said, well, you can have a collar on a shirt, but when you add the lace, it becomes more beautiful. That's poetry. So I thought that was a pretty good explanation for me to give somebody who doesn't like poetry.
Yeah, that is. It is.
Just wanted to share.
Okay. All right. This is going to be a quick poem by the brother who came into our class that day named Lawrence Allen Brown. This is his book. It's called If Words Could Fly. And I'm just going to read a short poem in his book. He has a lot of poems that are not even in this book, but that's what I'm just trying to show you all, that you can get your pieces printed or whatever have you. All right. This poem is called A Writer's Dream. A Writer's Dream. As I descend upon my twilight years, I am forced to confront my greatest fear. No, it's not the thought of my eventual death, nor what will happen after my final breath. My concern is that the time I spent writing words may perish with me before they're ever heard. So far, what time remains for me to exist, I would like to present my bucket list. As I rapidly approach life's golden age, I'd love to see the play I wrote performed on stage. Then I would have the pleasure of looking forward to one day receiving my first Tony Award. Before my time is up and I have to go, I'd love to hear one of my songs on the radio. Then I could pursue my lifelong dream of having it climb to #1 in Billboard magazine. There's another dream I would like to realize, that one day my book will win a Pulitzer Prize. And I can't even imagine how I would feel if someone I was honored by the Writers Guild. If somehow I was honored by the Writers Guild. Before that day comes when I must leave this earth, I want to believe that my writings had worth. I have to know that before I must depart, that somehow, some way I touched someone else's heart.
That was good.
That was really neat.
Yeah, really was. So that brother is really powerful. And you can see, like, he keeps everything simple and just writes, kind of like he's kind of talking, but still make sure to rhyme and make it all eloquent and stuff. So if you see really powerful writers like that, or I try to concentrate on local artists, tap into some of our people that are local here that you probably have never heard of, rather than people that we always know. And there's nothing wrong with researching people that we are familiar with as well, but local artists, you know, I just try to give them some shine. And even if you have like a child in your family that writes poems, if you want to share some content like that in class, please do so. All right, so today the lesson I want to give, although if you want to switch, so I'm going to go ahead and write on this board, Mr. Ronnie, and if for whatever reason anybody misses class, anytime you can do your poem when you come in class, and next week if you're not able to still perform your piece, it's no problem, don't feel no kind of way. Mr. Ronnie has the nonette, and you don't have to, is Miss Sharon Hartnett, did you do anything for the tanker? If she's
I tried, but I didn't like the way it came out. So let me work on next week. I have it.
It's no problem. So As far as Miss Jacqueline, Miss Jean, Miss Vicky, did y'all want to switch to another short poetic form, or you want to just go ahead with the new lesson?
The work on mine is going to be perfect.
Okay, you're gonna, oh, that's right. You're gonna work on what you already had. If you all want to switch to another form, just to try something out, please let me know so I can write it on the board. If you don't, it's okay. I'm gonna give everybody a lesson today anyway. All right, so I want you all to lighten up and write about something that has a sense of humor, something to make us laugh. And I'm gonna give you all a subject to write about, and you have to write about that subject any form of fashion you feel. It's like a free verse. Any way you feel free, you can write it in the style of a poem if you like. You can write it in free verse or blank verse if you like. Free verse is any way you want to write it. However, you just have to make it funny. It has to be having humor. All right. So Miss Jean, I want you to write about aging.
Woo! Okay, I know about that.
It has to be funny.
I know about that, yes.
All right, I knew you'd say that. Aging. Miss Jacqueline, 1 second. Miss Jacqueline, I want you to write about something about the youth or children, like children, youth, young people. Make it funny.
Okay.
It could be you in your younger life, however you want to express that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Jacqueline. I'm just going to put it down as youth, but I don't know how you're going to express it. It could be young folk, them youngins, youth, children, babies. You might want to include all of them from step to step. I don't know. But I'm just going to put youth. If I give you all, even though you're making stuff funny, please know that we are refraining from using profane language or basically cursing. The reason why the reason why is because, you know, we're recording this, and if I have any type of racy type of language, that means that it's not going to be put on YouTube. So, and the reason why too, it's not that YouTube doesn't have cursing, but we are representing the government, Fulton County, and they can't have certain stuff out as a liability. So refrain from using profane language, be creative.
And pure.
So, like, this is just an example. If you were to say a curse word that started with the letter S, everybody know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There are so many words you can use to replace that, like crap. Crap could be one. Doo-doo could be one.
Poo-poo.
Poo-poo, boo-boo. Look at Mr. Randy.
Stinky, stinky.
It could be so many words, so just try to be creative in your writings. All right, Miss Vicky, I want you to write about sex.
Woo!
But that's going to be very challenging for you because in a way you got to write about sex without writing about sex.
Don't write about the F word.
No. No.
Well, I don't know how you're going to put it down, but
okay.
Just clean it up. Just clean it up as far as those words. Okay. And Mr. Ronnie, I have you down for, don't forget, these poems are supposed to be funny. Mr. Ronnie, I'm gonna put you down for nature. I don't know how you want to talk about nature to make it funny. Nature could consist of forest and trees and bushes and flowers. It can consist of animals, anything in the natural, in the nature, and make it funny. Nature. Is there anybody else on here? Miss Sharon Hartnett. Okay, we're writing a poem next week that has to deal with humor. So Miss Shawnette, I want you to write about food and make it funny. Food.
I can blow you up, okay.
Food and make it funny.
Okay, though.
So I'm going to write a humorous poem, funny. I think I'll write about, do y'all want me to write about teachers or students?
Students.
Students, we want to hear you. What you got to say about us.
All right, so my subject is going to be students. All right, so going over that again, Mr. Ronnie might possibly have a nonette for us next week. And if you want to look up nonette to get a gist of still how to write that, feel free. Nonette is N-O-N-E-T. You got to write about your funny poems next week. It's going to be about nature, Mr. Ronnie. Miss Vicky, sex. Jean, aging. Miss Jacqueline, youth. Miss Sharon Hartnett, food. And Kimberlie Wright, students. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'll be very anxious and excited to laugh next week. And is there anything else anybody wants to suggest or share for today? Yes, Miss Jean.
You really make us use our brain.
Okay.
And that's good so we won't go insane.
Well, I don't want to refrain from
being disdained.
Doing my job or I'll be ashamed.
You're so lovely and we all respect and we take this class without regret.
I bet.
I know, and I'm going to show you so.
Look at Miss Jacqueline. Miss Jacqueline like, y'all going there, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me, Kimberlie Wright, and the rest of this wonderful literary class, you literary giants, in our endeavor of putting words down on paper and allowing them to become illustrious in our hearts and minds as images and memories or whatever your perceptions are of the writings. Thanks once again. I'll see you all next week for Word Up.
Word up.
Poetry, short stories, and spoken word. Y'all continue to do a wonderful job. I love you all. Have a wonderful and blessed day and have fun writing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, and I've had a great time with all of you and you too, Cosmos.
Okay.
Peace out.
Peace.
Love y'all.
Love y'all too.